What's up, Headbangers? My name is Dan Catania. I am the Media Platform Director for Headbangers Australia. We primarily focus on supporting and covering the underground metal scene, with coverage spanning across a wide range of subgenres of death metal, thrash metal, paramedic, symphonic metal, black metal, and metalcore. One of the goals of Headbangers Australia is to showcase the diversity within the metal community, while helping promote both Australian and international artists through interviews, reviews, and our online magazine Beneath the Surface. Headbangers Australia started back in November 2024. Originally it began as a rebrand of my personal YouTube channel. At the time I was heavily inspired and engaged within the Sydney metal community, and I wanted to create a platform that could help document and support the local metal scene. As the platform started to grow, we began receiving more press releases and building relationships with PR agencies, labels and bands interested in interviews and media coverage. From there, Headbangers Australia naturally evolved from a YouTube channel into a broader media platform. We eventually launched our official website to expand our editorial coverage, and more recently we introduced our online magazine Beneath the Surface. We now release 4 issues of the magazine, and we're going into issue 5 into production right now. So it's became a major part of the platform and our overall vision moving forward. So Headbangers Australia operates to many modern independent media platforms within the metal scene. A large part of our day-to-day operation involves working with press releases that we receive from record labels, PR agencies, promoters, and bands directly. From there, we create content and coverage across the platform. So whether that's through social media, our website, interviews, reviews, or features within our online magazine. Instagram plays a major role in helping us share new releases, tour announcements, and editorial content with the community quickly and directly. At the same time, we strongly focus on building relationships within the scene itself, both locally in Australia and internationally, which help us continue expanding the type of coverage and opportunities we can provide to the wider community. What Headbangers Australia offers bands is overall visibility and support within the metal community. Whether that's sharing new releases, publishing reviews, conducting interviews, or supporting local gigs and tours across Australia. Our goal is to help give artists a stronger platform and wider exposure. One thing that makes us different is that we work across multiple media formats. Since we produce both video content and editorial content through our online magazine, bands that work with us can receive coverage through interviews on YouTube, while also being featured through written articles, reviews, and magazine content. That combination allows artists to reach audience through both visual and written media. Over time, we also build relationships with record labels, PR agencies, promoters, and touring companies both within Australia and internationally. Through those connections, we're able to help provide additional visibility for bands and support campaigns surrounding album releases, tours, and promotional activities. We also provide PR and promotional guidance where possible. If bands need advice around releases, promotional strategies, or how to approach media campaigns, we're always happy to share our experience and help where we can. Beyond bands themselves, we work closely with promoters and touring agencies throughout Australia. This includes helping promote tours and events through social media, that's with our gig alerts, website coverage, magazine advertising, and editorial features. Overall, our aim is to support not just individual artists, but the wider metal community as a whole. How would I compare Australian metal scene to the European metal scene? Honestly, that's a difficult question for me to answer fully because I haven't personally lived in Europe. So I can only really speak from my perspective within the Australian scene. What I can say is that one of the biggest strengths of the Australian metal community is the level and support and passion that exists within the scene. Bands generally support each other, whether that's attending each other's shows, helping promote releases, or building connections across different cities and states. The same can also be said for promoters, media outlets, photographers, and other people involved behind the scenes. There is a strong sense of community involvement and collaboration. Australia is also a very large country, so there can be challenges because scenes are spread across long distance. Cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth and Adelaide all have their own strong local scenes. But there is naturally some isolations due to the scale of the country. Despite that, there is still a very genuine passion and loyalty towards supporting local bands and a broader metal community. From our perspective at Headbangers Australia, one thing we're very passionate about is helping strengthen those connections even further. We believe the scene becomes stronger when bands, promoters, media outlets, labels, PR, photographers, touring companies all work together to grow the culture collectively. So while I can't fully compare Australia to Europe directly, I can definitely say that the Australian metal scene has a very passionate, loyal and community-driven foundation. The idea for the online magazine Beneath the Surface really came from observing the culture surrounding metal media outside of Australia, particularly in Europe. Through working with international bands, labels and PR agencies, I've noticed there was a very strong credibility attached to being featured within a magazine format. In Australia, social media is generally the dominant way bands promote themselves, and physical magazines are nowhere near as common as they once were. But growing up as a kid, I collected metal magazines myself, and I always loved that experience of discovering bands, winning interviews, and feeling connected to the wider metal culture through those publications. I also had a friend who collected magazines like Sweden Rock, Metal Hammer, Decibel, and Legacy. So when I looked through them, I realized they were more than magazines. They were an ecosystem. They were connecting bands, labels, promoters, photographers, festivals, all together. That really inspired me. So the question became, how can we adopt that idea for Australia in a modern way? Since physical print magazines have declined, we felt that a digital magazine made the most sense for the type of platform we are building. When I pitched the idea to Camille, who is our creative director, she immediately saw the vision. From there, we wanted to make sure the first issue had a strong feature artist and a professional presentation. We ended up working with Seasonal Myth and Avocot for our first cover feature, which helped establish the direction we wanted to take. We also connected the interviews with both YouTube and with an editorial format, which became a major part of our identity moving forward. As the project evolved, the entire team started contributing ideas. Swampy, our European correspondent based in Germany, suggested featuring everyday supporters within the scene, which eventually became the Vault section. Camille introduced the idea of complimentary advertising for bands, where we will feature their tours, merchandise or Bandcamp pages alongside their editorial content. We also started adding gig guides, gig recaps, reviews, and scene-focused features, which one of them ended up being Grasswell, which is an Australian grassroots segment where we introduced an Australian band to ensure that we have an Australian band each issue. Originally, the magazine was only intended to be a simple newsletter. But once we started building the first issue, it quickly expanded to over 40 pages. After that, we realized we had created something much bigger than we originally anticipated. What really gives the magazine its identity, its visual presentation, and the collaborative nature behind it. Camille's creative direction brings the magazine to life visually, while our writers, Hayley, Ryan, and Swampy, our photographers, Shane and Jess, and our contributors, all shape the editorial voice of the platform. Over time, the magazine became more than just coverage for album releases. It became a way for us to document the scene itself, documenting bands on the rise, local communities, international stories, and the challenges people face within the metal scenes around the world. We've now released 4 issues, and each one has helped strengthen that identity further. The magazine has eventually become the heart of what Headbangers Australia represents today. A platform focused on connecting local and international metal communities together and giving people within a scene a voice no matter they are in the world. When it comes to the future plans and long-term goals for Headbangers Australia, our biggest focus right now is consistency and continued growth. We're still a relatively young platform, so at the moment we're focused on continuing to build the magazine, strengthening the quality and professionalism of our content, and improving what we deliver across all formats. A major priority for us is maintaining consistency with beneath the surface and continuing to develop it issue by issue while slowly expanding the platform around it. We want every release to feel stronger, more refined and more connected to the scene than the last. Long term, our vision is to help strengthen the wider metal community. Through the growth of the platform, we've learned how important touring and live gigs are to the survival and growth of the scene. Promoters and touring companies invest a huge amount of time, effort and financial risk into bringing international acts to Australia. So we believe that visibility and media support for those events is incredibly important. Because of that, we see ourselves continuing working closely with promoters, touring agencies, bands, labels, PR agencies to help elevate their tours, support bands with their releases, and that's even also through editorial coverage, interviews, social media, magazine features and live coverage. We see the magazine as a strong opportunity to help connect all parts of the scene together to create a platform where everyone contributes towards supporting the culture collectively. At the end of the day, our goal is not just to cover the metal scene, but to actually contribute to its growth, visibility and long-term sustainability. We believe that when everyone within the scene supports each other, the visibility becomes stronger, the impact becomes bigger, and the community itself becomes healthier and more connected. And our door is always open to everyone, even if you're a big promoter, small promoter, big band, small band, whatever the case will be. Our door is always open to you guys, and we're very happy to assist you where we can, and we're very honoured to be a contributor to the wider scene. And we also want to thank Maxi from MetalWohnzimmer for inviting us to his show. And I always say in my videos, we'll see you guys at the next video.